Most people spend $25 without thinking, on a coffee, on lunch, on something they forget by the end of the day. But there are 7 things you can buy for that same $25 that people swear changed their daily life permanently. Not for a week, not until the novelty wore off. Permanently, tens of thousands of people have discovered them. Most say the same thing, that they cannot believe they spent years without it, that nobody told them, that they found out by accident or from a stranger on the internet, never from an advertisement, never from a brand, never from anyone with something to sell. That last part is not a coincidence. Here is what they found. A bidet attachment, $25. The average American household spends between $100 and $200 a year on toilet paper. That is money leaving your household every single month, every single year for your entire adult life, for a product that does half the job a bidet does for free. A bidet fits onto any standard toilet. It installs in under 10 minutes with no tools. You do not need a plumber. You do not need to renovate your bathroom. You need 15 minutes and the willingness to try something the rest of the world figured out decades ago. In Japan, over 80% of households have one. In most of Europe, they are standard. In the United States, the toilet paper industry has spent generations building the cultural idea that a bidet is either a luxury or a foreign eccentricity. It is neither. It is a $25 attachment that pays for itself within 2 months and saves money every single month after that, permanently, for as long as it is attached. Every person who owns one says the same thing. I will never go back. A drain hair catcher, $10. The average plumber call-out in the United States costs between $150 and $400. The most common reason people call a plumber is a blocked drain. The most common reason drains block is hair. A silicone drain catcher sits over your shower drain and catches every strand before it reaches the pipe. You clean it once a week. It takes 30 seconds. You never call a plumber for that reason again. One family who tried it had a dog. They said the drain catcher paid for itself after the very first bath. Another person said they had spent over $600 on plumber callouts across 3 years before a stranger on the internet finally told them about it. $600. Solved permanently by a $10 piece of silicone. Plumbers do not recommend this product. At $10, it is not difficult to understand why. A scalp scrubber, $6. A small silicone tool that massages your scalp while you wash your hair. This is the one that kept coming up again and again, always with the same language. Every shower now feels like a spa. Think about what that actually means. Not one shower, every single shower. A routine that most people treat as a chore becomes something they genuinely look forward to every day, and it costs $6 to make that switch. A real spa session costs $80 to $150. Weekly sessions for a year cost over $4,000. The personal care industry generates over $500 billion a year selling the idea that feeling clean, relaxed, and well-groomed requires expensive products and expensive appointments. A $6 piece of silicone ends that argument quietly and completely. People who use one report washing their hair more regularly, sleeping better after evening showers, and noticing less scalp tension within the first week. $6. That is the cost of a before and after that repeats itself every single morning. Barkeeper's friend, $4. Stop here for a second, because this one is the clearest example on this entire list of how industry buries genuinely useful information. Barkeeper's friend is what professional chefs, restaurant workers, industrial kitchens, and cleaning crews have used for over 100 years. It removes rust, burned food, grease, limescale, and stains from stainless steel, cast iron, ceramic, glass cooktops, baking sheets, sinks, and bathtubs. People who find it describe the same experience every single time. They pick up something they had completely given up on. A baking tray black with years of burned grease. A sink stained beyond what they thought was recoverable. A cast iron pan they assumed was finished. They apply Barkeeper's Friend, and it comes back looking new, not better. New. The branded cleaning product industry generates over $30 billion a year in the United States, selling you a different product for every surface in your home. A different spray for the bathroom, a different one for the kitchen, a different one for the stovetop, the sink, the tiles, the glass. Barkeeper's Friend costs $4 and handles almost all of them. It has existed since 1882. It has never needed a rebrand, a celebrity endorsement, or a television commercial, because it has never stopped working. A milk frother, $8. If you spend $5 at a coffee shop 3 times a week, you are spending $780 a year on steamed milk and air. The average American who buys coffee out regularly spends over $1,000 a year on it. A handheld milk frother froths any milk in 20 seconds. Whole milk, oat milk, almond milk, whatever's in the fridge. People who buy one report stopping their coffee shop habit almost immediately. Not because they forced themselves to, not because they tracked their spending or set a budget, because their home coffee suddenly tastes just as good. The coffee industry spends billions every year constructing the ritual and atmosphere of the coffee shop around a single idea, that you cannot replicate it at home, that the barista, the machine, the cup, the environment are all irreplaceable. An $8 wand ends that idea permanently and keeps 780s a year in your pocket. A kitchen timer, $8. This sounds too simple for a list like this. It is not. Research on focused work has been consistent for decades. Humans do not sustain attention well in open-ended time. When a task has no defined endpoint, the brain resists starting it. When a task has a visible countdown, something shifts. It becomes finite, manageable. The Pomodoro method, used by millions of professionals, students, and creatives worldwide, is built on nothing more than working for 25 uninterrupted minutes and then stopping. That is the entire method. A kitchen timer costs $8. A productivity coaching session costs $150 an hour. The productivity industry, apps, planners, journals, courses, retreats, and systems is worth over $40 billion globally. Every single one of those products is selling you a version of the same mechanism a kitchen timer delivers for $8, bought once, used forever, no subscription. No renewal, no upgrade. A library card, free. This is the last one. It costs nothing, and it replaces more than everything else on this list combined. A library card gives you access to physical books, ebooks, audiobooks, films, music, and magazines. In many states, it also gives you free access to streaming platforms, language learning tools, and online courses. All of it for nothing. Audible charges $15 a month. Kindle Unlimited charges $12 a month. Online learning platforms charge anywhere from $20 to $50 a month or more. A library card costs nothing and always has. The publishing industry, the streaming industry, and the e-learning industry are all built on one shared assumption, that accessing knowledge and entertainment requires a paid subscription. A library card is the oldest content platform that has ever existed. It was free before any of those companies were founded. It will be free long after most of them are gone. The people who rediscover it as adults say the same thing every time. Not that the content is better, that they cannot believe they were paying for it. That is 7 purchases. The most expensive one costs $25. Most cost under $10. One costs nothing at all, and every single one of them has thousands of people behind it saying the same 4 words: I will never go back. Not I am glad I tried it. Not it was worth the money. I will never go back. That is the language of a permanent before and after. That is the language of something that changed how a day actually feels, not just once, but every single day from the moment you found it. None of these are hard to find. None require expertise or research or a special trip anywhere. They are sitting in ordinary stores and on ordinary websites right now, at the same prices they have always been, waiting. The only reason most people do not own them is that the industries making billions from the expensive alternatives have spent decades making sure this conversation never reaches you. This video is that conversation. Subscribe if it found you in time, and send it to one person who still has not found these yet. They will thank you for it.